obviously every game's a big one at this point, tonight especially. You had a little success the last time you faced Seattle. What do you expect out of tonight, and obviously what you guys have worked on since you saw them last?
Yeah, obviously they're really good off the rush. They have a lot of guys that can make you pay, and I feel like a lot of underrated guys that make a lot of plays. They got a D that like to get active, so I think they're pretty similar to Anaheim. How they like to get up in the rush, their D are active, and obviously we're just focusing on us and what we need to do to prepare against them.
How did that morning skate feel, just in terms of the energy, the cohesion, what you guys are talking about? How did that feel today?
Yeah, it feels good. Obviously, a nice day off yesterday, travel. It's always nice I like morning skates, get a sweat in, and obviously, like you said, every game is so big now. Every game is a playoff game for us, and I think all the guys are in the right headspace and ready to go.
And as far as this trip goes, you guys are starting, the West Coast swing. Every game is important. How do you want to set the tone on this trip with this game?
Yeah, obviously, we want to start out with a win and get this road trip on the right foot. And we're playing three really good teams, guys that are pushing for the playoffs, and we got to be ready to go from the start. We can't, this isn't Game 5 where you can kind of ease into it. We got to be ready from the start and make sure we're all going and playing the right way.
In terms of the rhythm of the game for you, you've been on the second power play unit for a bit now. Does that change the amount you're skating or how much you're into the game when they put you on a different unit?
A little bit. I think you obviously don't get as many touches, but that's part of it. And when you have injuries and stuff like that, things happen. So I think you get a little less touches and maybe rhythm a little bit, but I got to get my game back on the right foot here.
How much have you been, obviously you guys have a season going on, but how much have you been able to watch the Ovechkin chase this year?
Yeah, I try to get them on as much as possible. I love the Capitals growing up, and obviously I'm not cheering for him now, but it's cool to see him and what he's doing, and obviously pretty cool to catch the great one.
As a center, just what's it been like watching Kevin Stenlund this season? I know he's kind of unsung from the outside, but what has he meant to that position on this season?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's, I think just his shot, his skating, and the way he's always in the right position. Obviously, he's top 5 in maybe face-offs this year, so it's pretty special to have a guy like him, a guy that's you could trust and put him in every situation.
Kraus was saying it's been nice for you guys because this is the lineup you had the first week of the season, and now you've been able to stick with it. Do you think that's kind of helped success, having that depth and just the health throughout the stretch?
Yeah, it's really nice. Obviously, for a while there we were dealing with a ton of injuries, and that happened throughout an 82-game schedule. But it's nice to have everyone back and everyone feeling good and ready to push for the playoffs.
Every game matters, obviously, but the start of this road trip, how do you want to set the tone? How does your group want to set the tone tonight?
I think they're a team who generate a lot of speed of their rush, and as well last time we came here, they had a lot of opportunities. So for us, our back pressure from our track plus cutting the metal through neutral zone, and they stretch a ton. So the way we will play against the rush will be really important. I think when we apply good back pressure and we have a good soft lock, we're a good team. So won't have any change in our lineup. We keep the same. I think the guys are playing good.
As far as unsung heroes go this season, do you fit Kevin Stenlund in there for this group?
Sorry?
As far as unsung heroes go for your team, does Kevin Stenlund kind of fit that mold this season?
Big time. I think he's... it makes such a huge difference the way he played defensively. His play on the PK speak for itself, but more than that, it's big face-off. It's the way he play in our zone. And key moment in the game where you have to either win the draw or you need a guy who's playing really well down low. He does all of the above, and with his size and his strength, I think he's. You need depth. You need to have everybody on board to get a push like we have, and I think that's what we have right now. We have 4 lines who are committed, and they're relentless. So that make a difference.
It's quieter, but he said he's been trying to grow into a leader in this locker room. Have you seen him develop over the season?
Yeah, absolutely. And he has credibility. He won. He was on the ice on key moment last year in Game 7. You know what I mean? And you put McDavid, Draisaitl, and those guys out there, and you're the guys who's in charge of defending those guys to win the Stanley Cup. I think that's that speak loudly. I think in our room we have a ton of respect for him, and he's growing.
Barrett Hayton leads the team in expected goals this year.
Yeah.
What has he been doing to kind of put himself in good positions?
Yeah, I won't miss the game if I talk about everything he does right. That's the point with Aids. He does everything right. He prepped himself right. He trained right. He practiced right. He battled on every play. And there's not a play where you can go against Barrett Hayton and not thinking he will be all in. It's from his draw, from the way he played defensively, the way he cut time and space of the opponent in the neutral zone, from the way he go at the net, from his preparation, his everything. So I think he's doing a lot of good unsung stuff. You know, when you leave the ring at the Delta, you're not thinking, hey, Barrett Hayton was so spectacular tonight. But he opened the ice for everybody. He makes the right play when he has the puck. He has the ability, the skill level to make the next play. So he does a lot of good stuff.
He said that during his injury last year, he was able to kind of like get a bird's eye view and like watch other players and what they did in front of the net. Have you seen some of that kind
Absolutely.
of? Absolutely.
And we had that kind of a discussion early on. And, you know, it's Aids is always a guy who will seek for advice and wants to be better. When I say he does everything right, he's a student of the game. He's super passionate. So he learned more and more, because at the beginning of your career, you just go at the net. You told me to go at the net, I go at the net. Now he's going with more purpose and learning, and he will get even better. I think if you look at all those kind of young guys who go at the net in the league, they get older, they get smarter and more experienced, and they own their craft.
Yeah, he said he used the word "winging it" when it was.
Sorry?
He used the term "winging it." He was just like, I was just used to
Exactly.
winging it, but now
Exactly. He's bang on.
In terms of Dylan Gunther, how is a guy like that, a shooter like that, able to remain effective yet being somewhat predictable, right? I mean, he's shooting from the same spot a lot of the time.
Yeah, there's a multiple factor to that answer. I think he's playing with another good player. So if they can go all in on Gunner, something else will happen. So that there's other guy on the ice who open the play for him. So at some point, it's a little bit the old day of Wash. You know, okay, you go too hard at Ovi. Well, you have Backstrom and Oshie and Carlson who make you pay for it. So you need a balance. So when you play with good players, you're tougher to read. That's one. And two, I think he has enough IQ. He knows when it's time to shoot, when it's time to find the back door or make the next play. So he has a good mix of pitch.
The team is 17-0-1 when he scores. I'm just interested,
Tell him
what's
to score more. Make sure he doesn't skip any game.
just curious your thoughts on that correlation.
I don't have any thoughts on that. I think he's a good player for us, and when he's engaged like the way he is on the last stretch, he's more than a shooter. And I hate to have him kind of as the stamp-all of a shooter. He's more than that. He's can be really good in every situation, and I want him to grow his game and to become an even bigger part of in that. Having that said, make sure you keep shooting.
I know we've talked about it before, but how valuable is Ian Cole when it comes to the block shot category? Obviously, his numbers are pretty high.
Yeah, and the dedication, the discipline, the engagement, the detail in this game, this preparation, the focus, the communication on the bench. He's the perfect example of a good veteran who play at a high level and drag everybody in that high-level mindset.
Melka and Ned again?
Yep.
Any other changes to the lineup?
No change.